Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Craw Park. Let's jump right on in. Okay, so as you know, we're doing the new video series. We're talking about earnings and whether or not you should buy or sell. Now, disclaimer, I mentioned this yesterday. You should never blindly follow anyone's advice. You should always do your own due diligence when you're investing in the stock market. So if you're watching here for the first time, please subscribe, like, and share. All right, let's get back into it. Okay, so yesterday we talked about a variety of companies: Clorox, Ferrari, Marathon, Take Two. All right, so for me, the obvious choice yesterday was a buy for the Clorox company. As you know, we're living in COVID 19, and in this era of COVID 19, disinfectant cleaning materials is key. So I expected them to have great earnings and for the stock to rise. Let's see what happened. So Clorox had an amazing earnings, right? And so as you can see right here at the open, before the market, the earnings before the market, the stock price went crazy, right? So it jumped up. Let's see, when the news came out, trading at 238, and it hit a high of 245. So I mean, 8 points. You know, I mean that's definitely not um, something that is ordinary, even for a $245 stock. So, however, when the market opened, it just sold off. It's very weird how that happened. Obviously, the news was great. They had great earnings. And they're going to be in demand for quite some time because COVID 19 does not seem to be going anywhere. So the fact that it sold off so heavily and honestly went back, honestly, it just really retraced the entire move, right? So you see, the day before, it was trading around this 232 level, 233. You get your pop to 245, and then you're right back around that level. So basically, it just erased all of the gains from the earnings. So, however, I do expect it to go back up because there's no way this company does not succeed, especially when their products are in high demand right now. All right. We talked about Ferrari yesterday. So I thought that Ferrari was not going to have good earnings. However, they did have good earnings. So their ticker symbol is RACE, and their stock actually did pretty well. So, um, they did make a profit. Um, I was not expecting them to increase, so I definitely was wrong there. All right, what's next? Marathon. Okay, so I predicted that Marathon, being in the gas and oil industry, they were going to have a significant decrease in revenue and have bad earnings, and I was correct. Okay, so their ticker symbol was MPC, and yes, Marathon had a horrible last quarter. Their sales dropped 55%. However, even losing more than half of their sales, they still made $15 billion last quarter. So boo hoo. But I digress. So as you can see, they do have the negative earnings here of $1.33 per share. But as you can see, their stock price rose. The reason it did is because Marathon is actually going to be selling their Speedway gas stations. So, kind of a mixed bag of news. Good news because they're going to get, I think, 20 billion or so for those gas stations. However, they lost a significant amount of money. So, but as you can see, same thing here, right? I actually did a little bit better. So, before it was trading honestly, it's really right back where it was, which is kind of what happened with Clorox. You get the news, the earnings release, you get the pop up, and then it goes right back to where it was trading at the day before. So, all right, what's next from yesterday that we talked about? We talked about Take Two Interactive. So, as you know, this is a video game manufacturer. They own some of my favorite games, 2K and Grand Theft Auto. So, I already know with everyone staying home, people getting online more, and with the PS5 coming out at the end of the year, I know Take Two had great earnings. Let's see what happened. Their ticker symbol is TTWO. So yes, they had great earnings, right? So their revenue actually increased 300 million last quarter, and as you can see, stock price moved appropriately. So they reported earnings after the bell, and so when the market closed at around 4 o'clock, they were trading around 168, 167, 169, and then hit a high of 177. So you get like a nice 10-point move there right off the earnings. So I expect tomorrow that this will continue higher, but as you know, the market is irrational. So, all right, now that we've done our recap from yesterday, let's talk about what's going to happen tomorrow. So, Tuesday, and let's focus only on Tuesday. So, we're going to do the same thing we did yesterday. When we look at Tuesday, which stocks jump out to you? Okay, so brief recap. Companies on the left are reporting before the market opens. Companies on the right are reporting after the market closes. Companies only report earnings when the market is closed because they don't want a crazy spike in the middle of the trading day. So when I look at this, the companies that stand out that I know are BP, Lending Tree, Ralph Lauren, Upwork, Wynn Casinos, Nikola, Activision Blizzard, of course, Walt Disney, and Beyond Meat. Okay. Now, companies that I have an indication of what may happen. So I'm going to stick with my prediction that I had on Marathon with BP, right? They're both in the oil and gas industry. Last quarter, people were not driving as much. So I suspect that BP is actually going to have bad earnings based on decreased revenue. So that's a sell. Lending Tree and Ralph Lauren, not too keen on those. Upwork. So I believe Upwork is going to have negative earnings tomorrow, mainly because Upwork is a co-networking or co-working space for entrepreneurs, right? So they have office space. You can come in, you can use their meeting space if you're an entrepreneur, but you don't need an actual building. You just need, an office or a desk temporarily. Then Upwork is a place that you would go, hold meetings, use a copier, etc. However, with COVID-19 and theoretically entrepreneurs may have less revenue, the first bill they're probably going to cut is their optional workspace, right? Because if you're an entrepreneur, you can work anywhere. You can work at Starbucks. You can work in your own house. So if an entrepreneur has less revenue, do we really think they're going to continue to pay for a networking space or a co-working space that they can easily work wherever they want to? Probably not. So my forecast is that's going to be a sell tomorrow. Nikola. So this company has been going crazy lately. They're in the electric commercial vehicle space. So as we say in the South, 18 wheelers. Uh, However, I've heard some analysts speculate that this company is not what it reports itself to be. So it could be a sale tomorrow, especially considering that Nikola does not have any sales at this point. So everything that they do is all theoretical. Moving on, Walt Disney Company. So this is the toss up, right? So Disney, as you know, is probably most well known for their parks, which were closed for a significant amount of time. They did reopen them, but then, of course, as you know, in Florida and in California, there was a resurgence in COVID-19. So I would imagine their parks are probably not operating at full capacity. Now, Disney also owns ABC, ESPN, Disney Plus. So they do have some diversification, and that's in the right area, right? So it kind of hurt them because last quarter sports was not going on. The NBA was postponed, so that definitely hurt their ad revenue on ESPN, ABC, so on and so forth. However, Disney Plus, new streaming platform. I'm not sure the numbers of that, but theoretically speaking, they're competing against Netflix and everyone's watching TV, so it's probably going to do well. Not to mention, Disney has a crazy catalog that people would love to watch, so that's going to be a mixed bag, so I can't really decide on that. Activision Blizzard, so they're a video game manufacturer. Same with Take Two. I think they're going to have good earnings just because people are playing at home, they're staying at home. We got some consoles, video game consoles coming out end of the year, so that's probably going to be a buy for me. And then last but not least, my wife's favorite company at the moment, Beyond Meat. So I expect them to actually have really good earnings. In April, they came out with good news that they partnered with Starbucks in China to expand. So hopefully those sales are coming in. And you know, this whole vegan and non-meat, I wouldn't say fad or craze just because vegans and vegetarians have been around for a very long time. But they're doing some really great things. So I think Beyond Meat is going to have great earnings tomorrow. So, all right. So that does it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. As I said before, I do not have a name for this video series, so please help me out. And also, what you really could do to help me out is like the video, subscribe to the channel, share with your family and friends, show it to somebody that may be interested in the stock market. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.